What's the deal, YouTube? It's your boy Next Gen 720, and I am back with another video. I know I'm supposed to give you guys multiplayer podcast today, but I don't have that much time to do it. I gotta run out and take something really important. But before I even get to that, today was, oh my god, what's today's date? Today is what?
The 6th.
Today's going to be a national holiday. Today is the day when Xbox fans got their liberation. This is our 4th of July.
Oh shit! It's Passover for the Xbox. It's Passover for the Xbox. I do it.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's fucking Kwanzaa right now. Whatever, it's Kwanzaa bot. You know what I mean. Like I said to my man Griffin Gaming. Griff, you can open him too if you want. But yeah, as I was saying, this so listen. I said, leading into this, I was a little skeptical about Digital Foundry because they've been kind of, to me, this is my opinion, that they haven't held the other consoles to the same standards they held, the Xbox One or Microsoft. You see, they have what's that? Splatoon is 540p in handheld mode on, for us to switch. You know what I mean? And only 720p. When it's docked, you know what I mean? So like it's a little thing like that, because they were made it seem like it was such a big issue to go from 900p to 1080p. Then you even heard them say, if you look at this angle and 4K checkerboarding, and it's not that big of a deal. So I to me they made some very, very questionable statements regarding the Xbox brand and Microsoft. So he had his hands on it. I didn't even see the video. I was at the hospital earlier, so I didn't even get a chance to see it. But when I got home, I did a live reaction with me and Crap. You guys can check it out. The first time I seen it, and I say this right now, and I'm gonna let you guys talk. I'm not a big fan of Forza Motorsports. I'm not. But god damn, when they showed what's that, Forza Motorsports 6, if I'm not mistaken, and forget it being 4K native 60. The graphics, the level of detail, it blew my mind. I was like, my God. And it was only using 60% of the GPU, if I'm not mistaken, right?
66.
Whatever the case may be, it blew my mind. D, talk to me. Like, as far as the tech, I know we all thought it was AMD Ryzen.
I mean, can we even take D's word for it? Because shout out to D, that D's my nigga and shit like that. But D's been consistently wrong since he's been on the podcast.
When you don't know what's coming and you're speculating and you're going on rumors, you're allowed to be wrong.
Yeah.
So my nigga, we can play tic-tac-toe with the amount of times you were wrong. Do you know what I'm saying? And we can always win. Do you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. And you a smart dude. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, but this how it goes when you speculate, man. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. Other stuff, on my channel I'm right about, and this stuff I was wrong about it.
At least he missed what he's wrong.
But the bottom line is that we're still gonna get the outcome that we predicted. So that's all that really counts. Now, yes, they're not using a Ryzen CPU like we wanted them to use. They're using a Jaguar CPU. Now, I've heard a few people say, "Oh, it's not a Jaguar CPU. It's its own CPU. It's an x86 CPU." It derives from Jaguar, so it's using the Jaguar architecture. So it is what it is. Now, Microsoft is not going to allow Digital Foundry to say it's a Jaguar if it's not a freaking Jaguar, okay? So it is a Jaguar. However, it is a highly customized Jaguar. Now, they customize it for a low latency, coherency, and it's just really well optimized. And they actually put a physical hardware piece there on the command processors for the CPU to talk to the GPU.
Niggas don't understand what you're saying, D. Niggas do not understand.
Basically, they put a DX12 brain in the Xbox Scorpio that instead of the computer needing thousands of commands to talk to the GPU, it only needs 11 instructions. So right there, to me, that negates it not having Ryzen, because they put a special DX12 hardware chip in the system that will do all the calculations that it needs to be done. So
Yeah.
there's going to be no bottlenecks in the system. And we know this already because from the demonstration that they did today, we saw that the game was running 4K 60 frames per second.
Now, see,
you have
hold on. So D, see, this is the only thing that I'm a little bit skeptical about. Do you know what I'm saying? Everything that we did get did sound good and stuff, but we didn't actually. To just keep it all the way 100, we technically didn't see that game running. What we saw was a
stress
bench
test.
Okay,
or a
but
screenshot.
fair enough. This
It
is
can
why
actually run like shit.
this is
You know what I'm
why
saying?
they got Digital Foundry to do the reveal. Nobody is really going to debate Digital Foundry, and Digital Foundry, they're going to say it is as it is. And we know Digital Foundry this whole generation has been shitting on Xbox. And this is what he
We're
said.
impressed.
He said that it's stuck always at 60 frames per second. He said sometimes he saw the GPU usage go down to 55%. Sometimes it was at, if there was more cars on the screen, it went up to like 66%. But he said there was always a big there's a big leeway. There's a big headroom over there.
Microsoft has overperformed in their performance to give us what we want.
And then he said that he also saw them flip the switch and they put on the PC Ultra settings. And he said the CPU usage went up to 88%, but the game still stayed locked at 4K 60 frames per second. You have to have a good CPU to do that. And because of the instructions that they built into the command processors with that DX12 chip, allowing them to do thousands of draw calls with just 11 instructions, it negates all that shit of it not having Ryzen. And now the GPU, it's a 6 teraflop GPU. It has 40 compute units, so it's actually more than the RX 480. The RX 480 has 36 compute units. This already has more. Now the RX 480, it's defaults like out the box without its boost mode. It is clocked at 1120 megahertz. Xbox Scorpio's GPU is clocked at 1172 megahertz. That's outrageous for those type of clocks to be inside of a console. Now the PS4 Pro, it has just 36 compute units. It's clocked at like 911 megahertz. So there's a big deficiency there, and I think that it's about 43%, I believe. Yeah, 43%. More compute power Project Scorpio has. So the games are going to look substantially better. Like the games, like the good games on PS4 Pro, most of them need to be checkerboarded up to 4K resolution. You got Horizon Zero Dawn, it had to be 4K checkerboarded up. Yeah, you got some of your sports games like FIFA and NBA 2K17, Madden, and that Mantis Racing, like maybe what was that one that maybe the Last Guardian, they could get up to 4K because it's not really that demanding. But AAA games are like major ones are not going to be running at a native 4K resolution on the PS4 Pro. And Digital Foundry came out and said that Xbox Scorpio is substantially better than the PS4 Pro. So the games basically are going to run native 4K. These guys are saying that 900p games, 1080p games that are on regular Xbox One now will run at native 4K on Project Scorpio.
They said they're going to run at their target frame rate. They said if there's a patch, they can run at high resolutions, but at the moment they're going to run more stably at their target frame rate. Like you see how Halo 5 has got dynamic scaling, so now it's just going to run at 1080p and shit.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about third-party games. I'm talking about the Microsoft games.
That's first party.
Well, this is what Digital Foundry said, that Microsoft told them that games that
between that and regular Xbox, right?
I know we watched two different interviews because clearly on there, someone wants to get the soundbite. They said that Microsoft told them that games that run at 900p, 1080p will run at 4K on Scorpio.
No, they said they're going to run at their target frame rates.
It's okay. Someone pull it up right now. I don't want to do this to you, brother, but. If you didn't hear it, then you didn't hear it.
MVP, yeah, I think he got you on that one. Yeah, that's why we was talking about the live reaction about them, about those games. That
there was like three. There was like 2 to 3, interviews. MVP. Yeah. So they said different things.
I'm about the originally one from his.
But I'm talking
the
about
games that-
frame rate. I'm not talking about resolution. I'm
No,
talking
he's
about frame rate.
but these
I
talking about like,
wasn't talking about frame rate. I was talking about resolution. I said the games that are 900p, 1000p on Xbox One right now can
Yeah.
run at native 4K
4K.
resolution
Yeah, that's
on
what he said,
Scorpio.
See, okay, that is cool, but here's the thing. I think the Scorpio's main benefit over the PlayStation Pro should be performance and stuff like that. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's
Especially
got
since they
it's got everything. First of all, it's got a stronger
Yeah,
GPU. The GPU that's inside Scorpio is stronger. It's more powerful than the RX 480. That's bananas.
There's nothing that the PlayStation 4 Pro could do better than the Scorpio. They even said that.
Nothing.
There's no-
It's got 43% less compute capabilities, and it's got a lesser CPU. It doesn't have that
lesser memory
DX.
bandwidth.
It doesn't have the DX12 hardware in there talking to the CPU, talking to the GPU, bridging the communications together. It doesn't have it. It's not going to be able to touch it.
Well, the
The PS4 Pro is going to turn into the PS4 Pro exclusive machine for a lot of people. People are going to get their multi-plats on Scorpio. People are going to be streaming their shit on Scorpio to YouTube because you got 4K, 60 frames per second, heavy coding on that. It's going to look fucking beautiful.
Well, what do you mean stream? You still can't stream to YouTube yet. Niggas are gonna be streaming their 4K.
You know what? I have a feeling, and I'm hoping that Microsoft will correct that and have an option to stream it to YouTube.
Okay,
that is a great opportunity for them to advertise the console and to appease do a fan service to the Xbox fans that still buy them.
I don't think they're gonna do that right now, dude, because of Beam.
You think they're concentrating on Beam?
Yeah, but you can take the clip from Beam and just upload it to, YouTube, But yeah, they kind of pushing Beam, which I like. I think it's the dope shit. But anyway, another sidebar. What Sony with the PS4 Pro, their biggest Achilles heel or whatever you want to say, is to me is the memory bandwidth. Something else that he said that kind of poked. He said, "We're here. Sony has 8 gigs of GDDR5."
Yeah, they use less for the
Sony
system.
Were cheap. Sony were just focusing on being cheap, man. That's the thing. They cheaped out on that console, and now it's come back to bite them in the ass. Do you know what I'm saying? If they at least tried to go for minimum specs for pushing 4K native games, they'd be in a much better position right now. Do you know what I'm saying? Even if it was that the Scorpio would come out and just perform at 60 frames per second more regularly, but because they want to be cheap and because they want to con Jabari and they knew they'd get his money, they put out that white PlayStation Pro. Shout out to my nigga Jabari though. He be hiding in Bang Bang all day and shit like that.
Yeah, he been hiding. That joker been hiding, right?
Yeah. Kev held it down today. Kev held it down like a soldier.
Dealer, my man, Dealer. Do me a favor, I got 250.
What's up, Dealer?
Hit the like button, man. Hit the like button. Dealer. Muscle up. You hear Elvis? Elvis is into the building. Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure that guy died. But hey, what's up?
He died on the shirt, didn't he? With 5 Percocets in his mouth. Listen.
5 Percocets and a taco.
Yeah. What was your thoughts? About I think you said the Nightbot. Just labeled the Nightbot. What was your thoughts about the reveal, the hardware? I mean, I know you fucking probably peed on yourself when you saw that fucking picture. That's still a fucking Forza 4K with Ultra. So that was beautiful. Like that was beautiful. But what was your thoughts overall about what they had to say about,
I mean, we brought pretty much all of our thoughts over the past 6 months to the channel, right? And there's nothing I can say now that I haven't already said before, right? Like the RAM's right. The performance is about where I expected it to be. I'm just excited that it is indeed, PC class gaming finally on a console, And like, as I told you, Z, they referenced better visuals in regards to graphics, resolution, and frame rate. Just like I told you they would, right? I told you not to worry about that dog shit because they got enough overhead to do both. And that's great. They ramped up Forza Motorsport 6 all the way to ultra settings, 4K, 60 frames per second locked. And it only went up to 80% of the GPU, and that was with underdeveloped SDKs. So they say that's only 80% optimization so far. So I don't know, man. I'm really excited. Like I said, I pretty much plan on this thing giving you finally what you people have been asking for. I can't wait to get it. I know you're going to love it.
It's going to finally give us games.
And what I like too is that these modes are available for all users. So like if you have a 1080p set, you can choose whatever mode you like. You're not disqualified from choosing like the 4K mode for it to be downscaled to your set. You know, you can choose a 1080p 60 frames per second mode with higher graphic fidelity. There's going to be lots of different options available to every user. That's fucking excellent.
Yeah, like even on 360 games, like they went out of their own way to do this stuff 16 times.
Yeah.
On old ass 360 games, just because they can, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. This is some
So
real fan service here.
Listen, Diller, I'm sorry to cut you off. It's starting to make sense now, because like Phil, I listen. I take my hat off to you, Phil. You're the man right now. That they actually went back. I was talking about the backwards compatible, but the backwards compatible games are going to look better graphically on the Scorpio. Like, whoa. Like
and people give a shit for speculating, right, Z? But we do it based off leaks and papers we get and shit, right?
Yeah.
That stuff came straight from a leak that we got. And that's that automatic super sampling that we told everybody about. And that's without a patch, right? So there's no negative to that.
Yeah, man.
And the sickest takeaway for me, and I think it's kind of getting lost in the shuffle today, is the fact that they put a hardware DX12 chip on the command processor fucking talk to the fucking CPU and GPU with doing thousands of commands with 11 instructions. It's fucking blowing my mind.
Hey, we need to cover this shit, because this is the one negative of today. Is you got idiots that don't know what the fuck a Jaguar is in the first place, saying that this is a Jaguar core.
No,
when
it is a Jaguar. It is a Jaguar.
It's not a true Jaguar core. There's no Jaguar core.
It's a modified Jaguar core.
There's no Jaguar core in the world that's built directly for DX12 architecture or that much level 1 and level 2 cache.
The core, it is. You know what? It is a Jaguar core. It is a Jaguar core.
Yeah,
now, you're not gonna have
a Puma than anything.
You're not. No, it's a Jaguar core. You're not gonna have Microsoft let Digital Foundry handle the reveal, and they're gonna bundle something so fucking serious like the CPU. It is a Jaguar core. However,
Microsoft's official quote, D, is 8 custom x86 cores.
Why would you have digital? Why would you have? No, I'm not going to damage control this.
I'm not damage controlling.
There's nothing. Listen, let me finish here. There's nothing to damage control about it, to be honest with you, because they added a hardware DX12 chip in the fucking command processors that do thousands of draw calls with 11 fucking instructions. So I could give a fuck about a Ryzen, because there's no other CPU, there's no other command processor in the world that fucking has this tech. DX12 is directly built into this system.
Yeah, it's a CPU directly built with DirectX 12.
It's a custom. It comes from the same. We can't choose what architecture it comes from. It comes from the Jaguar architecture. Now, is it a traditional Jaguar? No, it's heavily customized, but it derives from Jaguar. We have to be.
I'd say it's if a Puma can be slightly modified from Jaguar.
Do you think? Okay, can I ask you a question? Do you think Microsoft is going to allow Digital Foundry to say that this CPU is a Jaguar if it's not?
Do you think allow them to say whatever they want to say?
No, they're not, man. They're not.
Yes, they did. They did not tell that guy what to say.
Come on, man.
I could care less. It's not no baby Jaguar. It's clocked higher than the PS4's. It's clocked higher than the PS4's Jaguar. It has more cache. It's designed a little bit differently. Like I said,
you can't even compare the two, because this one's built.
But it derived. No, it's a custom derived chip from Jaguar. It is what it is, man.
Yeah, man, it is. It's a Jaguar. It's not Ryzen or anything.
I'm trying to say, though, it is a custom DX12 chip. It is a chip designed specifically to work with DX12. There is no Jaguar that does that right now. Secondly, there's no Jaguar that comes close to that level of L1 and L2 cache.
Good point.
Because it's custom.
This is not the same.
It's custom.
Hang on a second. And you're right, it is custom, which leads me to my third point. A modified Jaguar that's 15% more efficient than a regular Jaguar is called a Puma. This is more efficient than that Puma.
Good
So
point.
I wouldn't
Good
call
point.
this just a Jaguar. I would call this a Puma on crack powered by DX12.
But a Puma is still kind of a derivative from a Jaguar core
Either
too.
way, I wouldn't call it a Jaguar. I would call it a custom Puma. So,
But he's not even. They're not even calling it a Jaguar. They're calling it an evolved Jaguar.
Microsoft aren't calling it anything but custom. That was a statement made by Digital Foundry, not
Yeah,
backed
but
by
Digital
Microsoft
Foundry
in
is
any
there
way.
speaking. Digital Foundry is there speaking to the engineers. They're preparing
The
what they're
engineers
going to
did
write
not
up.
give that word to him, though. He was asked that. Nobody told him to say that. Nobody said that to him. He said that.
I'm sorry. Until another outlet, because they're the outlet that was hired to do it, and they say it derives from a Jaguar. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to take their.
Well, you didn't feel that way.
I'm gonna have to take their word over it.
When he just assumed that it was a Jaguar based off white papers, you didn't feel that way then. So your tune's
No, I
kind of
didn't.
changed.
But yeah, I didn't feel that way. But I have enough common sense to know that this guy went to Redmond, went to Microsoft, big mighty Microsoft.
And nobody told him it was a fucking Jaguar.
Went over the specifications with the engineers, knows a lot more than what he's reporting on today, because obviously he can't report on all the details. And if he's saying it derives from a fucking Jaguar and he spoke to the engineers, I have to take his word over anybody else's word because he's the closest to it. Now, if Microsoft comes out of E3 and says it's not, hey, all the power to them. But the bottom line is it really doesn't matter because it's a fucking uber powerful CPU.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly another reason not to call it a Jaguar, because Jaguars are not uber powerful. Or nobody wants a fucking Jaguar.
It's custom. It's custom. It's custom.
Yeah,
just like this chip is custom. This chip is not like Polaris chip. It's beyond the Polaris chip. It's more powerful than a Polaris chip, but it still derives from Polaris.
Oh.
Yeah, it's going to be Polaris with a mix of Vega, just like the Pro.
I say this: fuck the Puma, fuck the Jaguar. This goddamn console was a beast. Did you hear what he said when he was like, basically, this motherfucker just long dicks the fuck out of the Pro, like honey dick, like literally.
Yeah.
I mean,
I really don't care the way. I insinuated that it was a fucking Jaguar a long ass time ago. I came up to a Puma. Either way, it is what it is. But I wouldn't call it a Jaguar. It's too fast. There's no Jaguar out there like it. It is what it is.
Name. Listen, it's fucking, oh my god.
But you got to understand that people are using the name Jaguar as a reason why it's just like the Pro, and that's why I don't want to call it a Jaguar, because these fucking idiots.
But it's not like the Pro. First of all, it's clocked higher. It's got more cache. It's been optimized more. It has lower latency, and then they add DX12 hardware chip in there to fucking talk to each other with 11 instructions to do thousands of draw calls.
So running the equivalent of Vulkan on a fucking console now.
It's retarded. Like this has never been done before. There's no PC command processor that has DX12 fucking built into it.
One of a kind. Oh, Jaguar.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Let's see the game.
It's a fucking custom chip. It's not a Jaguar.
Let's see the games.
We just saw a still shot or whatever the fuck in the game or whatever.
And you know that still shot that we've all seen. I put up in my video too. That still shot there is running. It's an Xbox One assets with just the 4K textures. That's it. But it's still Xbox One levels. Now he said that they switched it to Ultra. And of course, the CPU usage went up. But we haven't even seen what it looks like Ultra. And we're just seeing this with the 4K textures. And it looks beautiful.
Say that Ultra,
but here's the thing. We didn't see it running. That's the thing that I'm skeptical about.
Well, he confirmed it. He confirmed it in Ultra using 88% of the GPU. And that's with underdeveloped SDKs, which has been confirmed by Windows Central. So
yeah, but that's also running an Xbox One engine. Do you know
what I'm saying? That was the PC version. Read the article. They ran the PC version at Ultra.
Yeah, they turned the PC version on. He said that clearly. And he said it went up to 88. It went to 88%.
At Ultra with all the features
when it was running the Xbox One? 55?
66 to 55. He said it dipped up and down.
So if it's supposed to be 4 times more powerful than the Xbox One, why are we getting 50% more performance?
No, what are you talking about? 4K is 4x times the resolution of 1080p, the Xbox One resolution.
It wasn't even optimized.
That's 55% Xbox One version at 4K 60.
Yeah.
4 times the resolution of the Xbox One version.
Yeah, it should be
So
able
they
to
basically
beat-
use the
it should
PC
be
version
able
to
beat
benchmark everything.
Xbox
And
One
for those out there thinking that sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but for those that are thinking that the CPU is weak, no way the CPU is weak because it's running 60 frames per second with 4K. You can't have a weak CPU and
And
do
4K fucking recording in the
that.
background. So I mean, that's
Yeah,
why I
and
say
it
that's
still has
max it
shit
right
to
out here.
use.
Yeah,
Man,
so
this is going to be real interesting to see how it stacks up against PC for real.
Well, it's a
It's
console.
gonna, you know what? It's gonna stack up towards. I think it's gonna stack up towards a $700 PC, pretty much.
Nah, I would
gonna-
go above that.
it's
$700
gonna-
piece.
yeah, that's not including Windows.
I'm talking about pre-built though. Like if you make it, no first timer is going to make it themselves, right? Maybe
Yeah,
0.5%.
All the prices I always quote are, of course, pre-built prices.
Yeah,
so they're
pre-built.
not,
You're
they're
getting
not
RX
retail.
480, which isn't as
Yeah.
quick as a Scorpio, and an old ass AMD CPU from 6 years ago, basically
Yeah.
the architecture. So, and
But
it doesn't
doesn't
have this DX12 crazy shit going on with the CPU either. So,
But didn't that blow your mind, dealer? That the fucking chip in there is more powerful than an RX 480.
Mhm.
yeah, I mean that's what we speculated. So, and it's got 70 plus gigabytes more memory bandwidth a second too. So,
Yeah, it does.
this
Yeah,
is
it
going to be
does.
ridiculous. That centrifugal cooler they've got going on, vapor chamber cooling, that's pretty neat for a console. I mean, the thing's going to be thinner than an Xbox One S, but I think it'll be a little longer or maybe a little deeper on the Z-axis, you know? So,
Well, if you look at the reveal that Digital Foundry did, they have a couple of renders up there, and they have one where it's like it blows the console, just the insides of the console in and out, so you could kind of get the form of
shoots
it.
out
It-
the back.
Yeah,
it
it looks
back and the sides
and it looks like it's quite. It looks like it's smaller and it's more square.
Yeah. Who knows? We'll see. I mean, look at the 4K drive is at the top if you watch it pull itself apart, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
not as small as it looks in that picture. It's going to be around the same size as the next one S probably,
Yeah. Oh man, this is
which
like,
is damn small.
Yeah.
this is bananas though, man. Like this is.
Are you going to stop having fucking mental breakdowns, Z, or what?
No,
Yeah, this is what
I
you
want better
this is what you
graphics.
wanted.
Yeah,
what
I
you
got
wanted.
my better graphics, and I got a granny with a fat ass. Like I'm happy.
And I'm happy that they're going to give us all the options that we asked for. So, like, say a certain game. Just take an example. It's checkerboarding up to 4K to get 60 frames per second. It looks like they're going to give you the option that if you don't want to do that, you can do 4K 30 frames per second.
Yeah, but
Or maybe you want to do 1440p 60 frames per second. It looks like there's going to be loads and loads of options available to the user.
Yeah, I keep hearing people say, I'm on a 1080p 60 mode, and I just want to let people know that if you got a 4K 30 mode and set the same settings, the option for 60 will be above 1080. It'll be around 1440p.
Yeah,
I think you guys got to explain this to Tekken. Shut up, my man. Tekken God Jets. He said Jaguar CPU next gen. Can you say bottleneck? LOL.
Well, okay. First of all, if you watch the fucking reveal today, they said that they put a DX12 hardware chip in the fucking command processors to handle thousands of calls with fucking 11 instructions. So there's no fucking bottleneck. That's why they put that in there.
These are only other.
You gotta understand
that's
MVP.
walking around
We
with,
talk to these
DX
fucking
Scorpio
idiots
chip in the
that
pocket.
ask questions and don't want to listen to the answer anyway, right? So,
But listen, on some real shit though, I've seen a lot of people flip flopping. A lot of people were really impressed that Forza photo, but because again, I guess a lot of either pro PlayStation guys or whatever, they look at they take Digital Foundry's word at as gold, and they're impressed when they all
they're gonna hate Digital Foundry here in the next fucking 6 months to a year.
Yeah, when they came out and said, I even got my man Mark Sutton. He's in there talking about salty Sony bitches. But when they came out and said that their games are good, Scorpio's a much better console, and he said, listen, that it's a mid-gen refresh, not a next generation console. They was
Microsoft confirmed a long ass time ago. Like
Foundry came out and confirmed it again today, and it's a mid-gen refresh. Well, it's the Microsoft. No, they didn't move the gen. Like you got what's my man with the little ass arms? One style for lamers. He does like videos a day talking about Scorpio's a next gen console gonna fail. I'm looking at this like God, I'm literally like he does the same video.
It's kind of crazy.
Day.
You want to smack the shit out of these dudes because they already said they're
No,
done.
I don't. That roach face motherfucker, he got the cooties, but he does the same stick every goddamn day. I'm like, yo, bro, like you bugging, like you know what I mean? But
or last week when I was on that show and they were saying that it's not going to be able to do 4K, it's going to be checkerboarding up, eating that fucking crow now, aren't they? Like,
no, I mean they'll say, well,
I see
it's
a lot of
Forza,
people
it's
quiet to
Forza.
me too, man.
How are they probably about to
too.
buy his, what's it, his 20th Xbox or some shit? How many Xbox that nigga bought? 20 Xboxes?
Hardy?
Like yeah.
Oh, they was riding him in bang. Shout out to my man Jesse. They was riding him in bang bang. Hardy told me he has 15 PS4s and 7 Xbox Ones. Like, god damn.
Hey, but to double down on that CPU, the bottleneck bullshit, you know, you're right, with DX12, like they said, thousands of commands. And these commands ultimately is what slows down the CPU in your PS4 Pro, for instance, right?
Yeah.
With DX12, to literally cut that within to 1,000th, like 11 command prompts instead of thousands, that means that's how many hundreds and hundreds of more commands can you do in the same time that they would have done that one command that was initially over 1,000, right?
And that really got lost today. And also, too, they clearly said that with that implementation of DX12 on the command processors, DX12 games are going to have 50% less overhead. Yeah. 50% less overhead.
So they're achieving incredible. All of this performance, which that's why I say don't ever use the rules of the past to define what's possible in the future, right? Because that's why people are saying, well, it's going to be a bottleneck and they need this much CPU to do this. Microsoft are going around your bullshit with software to take advantage of the hardware that's already there. It's way more efficient and it's cheaper.
And the mighty Digital Foundry was fucking impressed. They're like, we don't know how they fucking did this. Like, it's impressive.
Yeah, that's a little American engineering.
Definitely is impressive. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see what happens about the games, though. Let's see what happens about the games.
The multiplats, or what are you talking about? Someone exclusive? The multiplats.
You know what? Well, we already know the multiplats are going to be killer on there. That's
Digital Foundry said there's going to be a quote unquote gulf between the two platforms.
Said a gulf.
Yeah. And you know what? With them coming out ahead and announcing the specs now, then they're gonna at E3, the day before E3, they're gonna show us the console, all the bullshit that comes with the console, all the different, features of the console, and then E3, because listen to what Phil says. Phil says he wants E3 to be about games. At E3, you're gonna get an onslaught of Scorpio games that weren't announced before. It's gonna be fucking glorious.
Did you notice all the flip-flopping? I went to all these different IGN, GameSpot videos, right? Normally, they talk about...
E3 is gonna begin with a video of Call of Duty or Battlefield, like it does every year, man.
There ain't gonna be no Battlefield this year, right? It'll be Star Wars.
And then I gotta say something too. This fucking shit really grinds my motherfucking gears, man. So you got over here at N4G, and N4G has a story up, and it's like trending almost number one instead of the glorious news of fucking Scorpio today that what's the developer's name? Their Sony one. They did that game, the horror game. What's that horror game? Until Dawn. What's who's the directors of that?
Until Dawn.
No one knows.
I forgot. Yeah, but they
anyways, they're Ready at Dawn. So they're saying that the CPU upgrade is not huge or amazing on Project Scorpio. Like, first of all, motherfuckers, are you even working on a game on fucking Scorpio?
Well, they've been working with OpenGL, right? So they don't have a fucking clue what they're talking about when it comes to
come on.
Oh, yeah. Of course, people who make games for a living don't know what they're talking about.
Well, obviously, if you're talking about a chip with directly integrated DirectX 12 support, the first of its kind, that person doesn't know what the fuck.
And you haven't worked on the fucking system? What games have Ready of Dawn done on fucking Xbox ever?
Of course not. Like, obviously,
think about it. I mean, do you not believe Digital Foundry when they tell you the commands have been literally cut into 100th of their previous kind of processing cycles, right? From thousands to 11. You don't believe them? Don't you think that's?
Of course I do. But do you know how exactly that's going to correlate to making your gaming experience better?
50% less overhead.
Yeah, 50% less overhead, so they can push it further. Exactly.
Haven't you ever heard of Vulkan? Like, haven't you heard the shit about Doom and Vulkan and all this shit?
I'll give you an example. Vulkan, if when I switch on Vulkan with Doom, with my RX, sorry, I have an RX 390. It's kind of like the RX 480, got a little bit more bandwidth, whatever. I can run Doom pretty much 4K 60 frames per second with that, with that alone. That's fucking incredible. And Doom is no fucking dinky game. It's got a lot of effects. It's got great textures going on.
To put it to you simply, they've taken 6-year-old GPUs, they've activated Vulkan on these GPUs, and gained 25 frames per second.
Listen,
I'll tell you. Sorry, one more thing. I will tell you a little story. Dealer ran like a video of Forza, and he's saying, "Yeah, I got 4K 60 frames." I was like, "Yo, bro, how did you get those settings?" Because I ran that game like when it was launched. It was not running at 4K 60 frames per second with one card.
Over 110 on an RX 480 now, and he was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, so I went back and I did, and I was like, holy shit. So they added DX12 to that game, and that same game that was struggling to do 4K 30 frames per second on my hardware before was now running 4K over 60 frames per second. So software makes a big difference.
And that's why
you got to remember who Microsoft is. Microsoft is the king.
Yeah,
Microsoft is the king of software.
Yeah, definitely.
They're the king of it.
Hey, but Z had a great point earlier. Like I've been making the rounds at GameSpot, IG, and they all been picking up on this. And I've been noticing all the top comments are pro Xbox. I mean, this is the first time this has happened in years.
Yeah,
and it's amazing the amount of you flip flopping motherfuckers out there. It's funny as hell, but still, you know. What have you seen, Z? All these flip floppers.
I know even better. I have a direct quote here. I want you to listen to this. It says here, this is from the guy from Digital Front. It said, "For what I've seen so far, this is some evidence that the Scorpio's true 4K performance could pose a challenge to the likes of the NVIDIA GTX 1070
and that's
AMD's,
Digital Foundry, right?
And AMD's Fury X class hardware. We're talking about a console here, ladies and gentlemen.
And he's quoting Digital Foundry right now, right?
Yeah, he said, I've seen Microsoft new console running Forza Motorsport 6 at a level experience locked to 4K 60, the equivalent to PC Ultra settings. Jesus, cranking up the quality presets to obscene levels, which was on the first things developers did when confronted with the sheer amount of headroom they had left from a straight Xbox One port. This is no optimization. It's just putting it up here. Bam!
Yep.
What the fuck was Sony doing when they were making that bullshit Pro, man?
We tried to tell you,
motherfuckers. They got caught with their pants down. They didn't realize that Microsoft was doing something. That's what happened.
The PlayStation profit. That's all they want.
They probably because these guys usually know what's happening between each other, so they might have got wind to the Xbox One S, and they're like, "Oh, okay, don't worry, we got the Xbox One S, you know." And then Scorpio came and fucking slapped them in the face with the dick, man.
D, we've been telling these guys this for like fucking 8-9 months now. In 8-9 months, we've been telling you that there is a real difference, this, that, and the other, and who, you know. Jesus Christ! Like you thought we were just making this shit up.
If you don't want to believe us, it's not our problem.
Seriously though, you got to understand where we're coming from here. Like that, we just make this shit up. So Z's reading this quote straight from Digital Foundry. Go ahead and keep reading that shit, bro.
I'm gonna go back. Hey, how Israelites be downtown? Read Psalms 22. He's screaming this shit. I'm sorry. He said, "Turn did when confronted with the sheer amount of headroom it had left after a straight Xbox One port. Out of interest, we tested Forza 6 Apex with similar settings at 4K on a GTX 1060, 1070, and 1080. Frames were dropped on the GTX 1060, and a lot of them went wet when wet weather conditions kicked in, while the GTX 1070 held firm with only the most intense wet weather that you lost a couple frames. Only the GTX 1080 held completely solid at this test. Is only one data point, and to the extent which the code is comparable at all the back. So basically saying, you know, even the GTX 1070, the GTX 1070 dropped a few frames. But the only one was able to lock it, you know, with Forza Apex was the GTX 80, which is a very, it's like a tech test or whatever.
And they mentioned that because on Scorpio, Forza was locked. Same exact settings, locked 60.
But you know what? I told the guy, well, I was arguing with someone. No,
what's happening in Blazing Phoenix?
Keep an Xbox. I was telling one of the guys in one of the shows we were doing, and he was saying, you know, that as far as the Scorpio, what it has on the side as an advantage is optimization. You know what I mean? They don't need all the other things that are running, and they don't need that. Like this is for $400, even $500, I'm fine with. This is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like I'm really, really impressed, and I'm really, really blown away. But we want to say something before we get the hell about things. Talk to me.
What do you guys think the price is going to be?
500.
I say in the 400 range.
I say 400 to 500.
I don't care if it's 700. I'm buying it.
Yeah,
You niggas listen to everything apart from the fact that they said it's going to be expensive.
Who said it's going to be expensive?
He did say it.
Yeah, but you know what though?
He said it's going to be premium.
Yeah, he says it's going to be priced more than the PS4 because you're getting more and you're going to have to pay for more.
Truth be told, I think expensive because truth be told, I don't. It's not. It's not from what we heard today, and I'm pretty sure dealer can agree on this. I don't. The tech that's in that system is not going to be more than $500. It's not going to be. I'm really hoping an aggressive 400.
The Pro is going to be $350 this year.
Yeah,
and Microsoft are not going to come in more than $100 more than their competitor. And
No.
if they do, hey, they'll suffer. But 500 is the absolute maximum. I'm saying 450. It could go up 50 either way, down 50.
But
if it comes in at $400, like. Holy shit!
But even better, MVP. Did you hear what Phil said? It's going to be a console price. So I mean,
but 500 is a console.
Nigga,
price,
you spent $300 for a Switch.
That's what I'm saying.
You spent $300 on a Switch.
But I want it to be 500. Why?
This is the only console in history that's actually worth $500 at launch.
I agree with you.
If it's 500, I know it'll actually be worth the money and stuff like that. I know Microsoft won't be putting out no bullshit. Look, it's gonna have a 4K drive. It's gonna be cutting edge technology, and it's gonna be small. I've heard. It's gonna be small.
And apparently it's gonna have a 7,200 RPM drive in it as well.
Come on, man, that's $500.
Which that's load times are ridiculously fast, much faster than on the Xbox One. And also, what the fuck?
Cache. They said because of the memory that they're going to be able to use it as a RAM disk and be able to load assets really quickly as well. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
You don't think
so
that's
there are things in there that aren't necessarily like directly performance related, like a hard drive, right? That's not going to make your games look better, but everything's going to perform better. It's going to be better load time. That stuff's going to add price to the console. But like I said, even if they're at 500, this is the only console in history I think that's fully worth every single penny at launch. And he did imply that they're going to have a bunch of day one patches for this thing, more than the Pro. And these games are going to be real 4K with better graphics, better textures. They got the RAM to support it. We'll see what happens, man.
You think they're going to have two SKUs? Maybe one for 400, one for 500?
Man, I don't know, man. People think the PS3 was $600 at launch when in reality it was $500 as a base model, and they had a 40 or 60 gig for $600, right? But people only quote the $600 one because it was the highest one. So maybe they don't want that perception, but at the same time, maybe they know people have externals as well. So, I don't know. Who knows?
I think you need larger than 1 terabyte, to be perfectly honest.
I got like a shit ton of externals. I don't need the 2 terabyte.
And I know they know that they're aiming towards the enthusiast. And for the enthusiast, 500 isn't that much. 500 is a good deal.
No, we paid that.
Yeah, you're right. 500 is that much, but that's a bad perception. Because Sony might drop the prices on all their consoles.
Fuck the Pro. It ain't
350 versus 500 is a stretch, I will say, but I think people will still pay it.
The Xbox Scorpio to soccer mums and stuff like that. They're looking to sell it to us.
You know
what I'm saying? So for hardcore gamers and stuff, $500 is a very reasonable price. For
God.
He is right about that, but I think they should try to take a hit on the console, try to get it to like 400, 450, because that does look good.
Well, they still got the rank. You got to realize this too, Lazy. They still have the Slim. That's not going anywhere. So that's some, this here is for a premium product.
Well, that bitch will be $250 by the time this thing comes out, man.
This is the elite controller. This is our elite controller, right? We got an elite console. You're like, fuck that. We don't want any peasants over there. No peasants. Get out of here. This is petty, man. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean?
Oh, shit. But, and they did confirm 4K game capture as well, right? I don't know if you guys saw that. But
yes.
That's big for YouTubers.
That's big.
Like them dudes like Boogie. I think you can see him get one.
And it shows you the capability of the CPU with the current Jaguars can't do that shit. No. So I mean, that's why I say I'm more comfortable calling it completely custom because not only does it do shit that's never been done before, but the Jaguars don't share any similarities, to my knowledge, to that fucking thing in Scorpio.
The only reason
how you feel knowing that Justine's gonna get one of these motherfuckers before you do. Do you know what I'm saying?
That skank bitch she'll pull the titties out to get some views, probably with it. I don't know.
I just wanted the Ryzen in it to brag about it.
You wanted what?
I wanted the Ryzen in it for the performance, and I wanted to take advantage of that new architecture that they have.
However, like bragging rights, 4K 60.
But you know what? I could care less about it now. People are really forgetting the fact here that there's a DX12 hardware chip built into the system to handle thousands of fucking draw calls with 11 instructions and reducing the DX12 overhead by 50%. I just heard you read out Digital Foundry saying that they tried to do that on a PC and they were unable to do that because they don't have the same type of instruction set from that chip.
And this is Microsoft's very own API. They made the shit.
Yeah, they made DX12.
So it's hard to understand because it's never been done before, right? And Microsoft are going to get a lot out of this. There are going to be those that say, well, it's a DX12. Not every game supports it. More and more every single day, and every single big AAA supports it right now. There will be no issue with this.
And what's the argument? You have fucking Digital Foundry that told all the Sony fans this whole generation that 1080p was greater, that the Xbox CPU or the GPU sucked, and that it could only reach 900p and it had screen tearing at the top. They're saying that it's got a 43% advantage in compute capabilities. It's saying that the system is going to do 4K 60 frames per second, and that they saw a game running 4K 60 frames per second ultra. What bottleneck is there?
Hey, and I do want to say real quick before we head off here, it's around the same percentage in advantage, right, between the PS4 and X1. And I've covered this before. But when you increase your target, when you go from 1.3 to 6 teraflops, that same 43% goes from a 20 FPS advantage on PS4 side to anywhere from a 30 to 40 FPS advantage on the Scorpio side over the Pro, not counting its RAM bandwidth advantage and its CPU advantage. The GPU alone is 30 FPS boost over Pro. So keep this in mind. Like, this is nothing.
Yeah,
Digital Foundry was saying, and we've known this for a while, that you can't get better textures on the PS4 Pro because of the fucking RAM that they have. They don't have enough RAM to load those assets in. Scorpio has enough RAM and more to spare. That's why you're going to get 4K ultra textures, 4K native 30 frames per second ultra textures, whatever. The reason you can do it is because it's got higher it's just got more RAM available. It's just a better system. Games are gonna look better. I don't know what's to debate here.
It's just the trolls, bro. I thought it was cool when they were showing Forza. They actually showed how much memory was being used up in the Scorpio. It was just over 5 gigabytes in the Scorpio.
Yeah, I did see that actually.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But I think at E3 when Microsoft come out and they show all these new games like 2K and Battlefield and stuff, I think people are gonna be blown away. So they're just gonna get it just for the graphics alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't think people will buy it for better games, people? Look at the comment section of these videos. Every shit has flopped already. You guys can go run and see, Google what RX 480 games do at 4K, and then you can amplify that with the Scorpio. Don't do that because they're day one driver benchmarks that are dog shit. Where the card performs worse than a 970. Right now, it's like fucking shit. It's so much better than a 970. It's not even close. So don't Google that because that's why morons like that Arsenal guy don't think it's going to be capable because he has no clue. He's Googling shit, right? Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Don't Google it.
I understand what you're saying, but that is a powerful chip. And fucking Scorpio is more powerful than that chip. That's fucking blowing my mind, man.
I would say go check out my benchmark videos where I actually use the newest drivers and show you the settings 4K Ultra up to 50 frames a second on these AAA games and stuff. 110 FPS on Forza with the RX 480. It's going to be more powerful than that. That's what I would say. Go check those videos out because that's, expect that shit and more.
And the fact that they put DX12 actual hardware in this box is going to make developers actually use DX12. So you're going to see a lot more optimized third-party games, man.
So do you reckon it's going to outsell the Pro and the PlayStation?
I don't know if it's going to outsell the PlayStation because the PlayStation is pretty cheap. So I don't know if it's going to outsell it right off the bat. It depends on the price they come out with.
Yeah,
I honestly think it's really going to dent the PS4 Pro sales. I don't know. Maybe on the holidays with the exclusives they have they might stunt it off a little
We got
bit.
the
But
multiplats. We got the duties, the battle.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line is it's not going to hurt Xbox One sales in any way.
You know, the only people who should be worrying about sales is Microsoft. We should just enjoy the console.
And they're not worried. They done confirmed Xbox One is the most successful console of all time after 3 years at the same point in the cycle. So they're not worried. You know, PS4 is just doing really remarkably, goddamn it. And you know, hey, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh, that was a very diplomatic answer from you guys. I didn't expect you guys to say that shit.
Oh yeah, if you watch the videos, if you watch the videos, you'll see we're actually a lot more balanced than what people think.
Yeah.
They look at the title or thumbnail and they're like, "Oh, you're an asshole."
Yeah. Most everybody on this panel have a PlayStation Pro.
Yeah. So
pretty much.
Yeah, I can't that's one thing.
not for long.
Remember, games are still going to be the factor. So
no, not for me because no games over there appeal to me. So I mean,
wow. Well,
all the best games are multiplats or Microsoft games, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, though. So that's what I'm saying. Everyone has their own opinion.
People seem to think otherwise.
Yeah, I don't
but
care what they
mostly
think.
the weirdos, though. The only good games are Sony games. It's like
oh my god.
Yeah. Nobody care about them Japanese.
He's into that weird shit. So just let him like what he likes, and we'll like what we like. No big deal.
But it's not the 90s.
Yeah, but
Persona 5 just sold a 1.5.
Listen,
I don't get it.
In a week.
That's a weirdo game.
Wait.
In a week.
Persona 5
Aren't you the skinny nigga in the wife beater with the Egon Ghostbuster glasses? Nigga, settle down.
But you know I'm playing games with
you look like the black Isaiah Thomas.
Wait.
Yeah, let's see what your body look like.
Your DC sniper looking ass.
This was
you.
Hey, listen.
You sound like the guy that blew up the subway.
Yeah, hey, listen.
You look like a DC
You
sniper.
sound like when the boy blew up the subway.
Hey, listen. But wasn't Persona 5 on the PS3?
Yeah, Persona 5 was on the
You black too?
PS3.
You sound black.
But isn't that game about a bunch of transgender cross-dressing or some shit? I just seen someone.
No, me personally, I wouldn't play that bullshit.
I wouldn't play it, but I'll brag about them shitty ass meaningless sales.
Got him. All right, but listen, with that, we're gonna get the hell up out of here.
You got 80 million PS3s out there, 60 million PS4s, and only did 1 million. Get the fuck out of here.
It's only been a week.
I don't give a fuck if it's been a month.
And if we got 400 people,
don't give a fuck about sense.
Hit the like button, please, man. Hit the like button, man. I got something really, really special for y'all. I got some codes for some multi-plat games. I'm gonna give away in the live stream. Follow the Beam, the link. I'm gonna leave the link in the first comment. Subscribe to my Beam. I've been live streaming I didn't do it yesterday, but I've been live streaming every night. I got Mafia 3. I got a few games. I got Mass Effect. I got something else. I got Reform.
What platform you got those for?
Mass Effect, good game.
Listen, you ain't gotta ask me that, bro. You already know that. Like,
That's Xbox all day.
Yeah. I mean, I got to feel like I said, I got about 7 codes that I'm gonna give away to you guys that were given to me. Follow the Beam down below. I'm gonna leave the link in the first comment. So yeah, come rock out with us. Like I said, let's all get together. Xbox fans, it's our time again. Are you not entertained? If they show Rise 2, oh my fucking god! I gotta go.
Are you not entertained?
Nintendo Switch, baby.
You're not
It's all about
getting
Nintendo
4K,
Switch.
give me death.
Yeah, give me 4K or give me death or give me a grand.
I ain't playing this if it ain't 4K.
Yeah.
Right.
Guess what? Sony the jokers, 4K makes us a better gamer. I swear to God, it makes me a better gamer. We out of here, man.